I would definitely get a divorce. That's what I was determined to do at that time. I met my wife at the same company, and she was my trainer at the time. She was cool in the way she handled her work and gave me precise instructions, and I would ask her for advice about various things at work. We started going out to dinner regularly, and we started dating and ended up getting married. I wanted her to start a family after marriage, so she quit her job and became a full-time housewife. When we first got married, we were both in a good mood because we were newlyweds, and we enjoyed each other's company. But gradually, I began to see some things that I didn't like. First of all, she would leave her undressed clothes and socks on the floor. She often didn't call me when she had a party to go out for drinks. It's hard to describe the emptiness of wasting the dinner I worked so hard to make. My wife is also a bit of a princess, and she always has something to say about everything. She tells me that the miso soup is not tasty enough, or that I haven't cleaned the house well enough. She even said to me, "What are you doing?" And always at the end of the sentence. My father always did everything perfectly. I realized after we got married that my wife was a daddy's girl. I didn't realize it because she never showed any signs of it before we got married. And then there was Alex, my wife's father. Alex is also very troublesome. He always tries to interfere with us. He would come to our house out of the blue and attack me, saying things similar to my wife. It's worse when my wife is home, because she and him do whatever they want. He even asked her to stop cooking when I asked her to cook for me, and serve me their own home-cooked food. My wife says, "My father's cooking is the best. I wish you could learn from him." I still remember the look of triumph on Alex's face. I got angry at my wife's bad attitude, and I started to talk back to her more and more. When my wife would argue with me, she would get upset and run to her parents' house. Then she would get her dad to call and say, "It's your fault. You should apologize." A daddy's girl wife and a father-in-law Alex. This double combo was bothering me, and the word divorce started to flicker in my mind. Even so, it was difficult for me to make up my mind to divorce right now. One day, however, a surprising thing happened to spur me on. The $40,000 I had been saving was gone. I was in despair. When I told my wife when she came home from shopping, she said, "Oh, I spent it." "What? Why? Why?" The words came out naturally. My wife was surprised at my tone. She said, "My dad says we're having a hard time making ends meet. It's the family's money, so what's your problem?" My father-in-law had been living alone since his wife passed away. He was probably receiving a pension, and it didn't look like his life was that difficult. I suddenly felt lightheaded and collapsed. The last thing I saw before I closed my eyes was my wife calling my name and panicking. When I woke up, I was on the bed in the hospital room. My wife said to me, "You are awake." "I'm sorry I've worried you." "Gosh, I had to cancel my errands." Apparently I collapsed last night and woke up the next midday. "So you're okay now, right?" "Where are you going?" "I'm going to my parents' house, I guess. I don't have any more errands to run." I couldn't believe that she wouldn't put me first at a time like this. Then the memory of why I lost consciousness came back to me, and I remembered the $40,000 and I became even angrier. I would definitely get a divorce. I was determined to do so. My wife left the hospital room and my parents came to visit me. I explained to them what had happened. My parents were angry at my wife's attitude and behavior. They also told me that I should definitely get a divorce. My mother told me that I could come back to their house anytime I wanted, which gave me a lot of hope. I decided to study to become a CPA to improve my skills. I left all the necessary reference books at my parents' house so that my wife wouldn't have any problems with me, and I found time to go there and study. All the money I spent on my studies came from the family budget. My wife said to me, "Hey, isn't your savings decreasing?" I said, "It's because someone spent $40,000 without my permission." My wife was silent, as if she was in a bad mood. After a year and a half of living like this, I found out that my wife had a child in her belly. She and Alex were overjoyed. My wife said, "Let's buy a house and live together as a family." She hinted that she and her family would live together. Alex was also excited and said, "I'm so happy to see my grandchildren every day." I got a shiver down my spine. Even now, I'm suffering from this harassment and nagging, but living with him? I thought it was impossible. I strengthened my will to pass the exam and take back my children and protect them. 2 years after I started studying, I passed the CPA exam. A few months later, my beautiful son was born. All I had to do was to get rid of that father and my wife. One day, my wife came home from an errand. I said, "Divorce me," and thrust the divorce papers in her face. She blinked several times with her mouth hanging open. She didn't seem to understand what I was talking about. "I've come to the end of my marriage with you. I'm taking my son and going home to my parents." The wife finally understood what was going on and said, "I will not allow you to do such a selfish thing." She was indignant. She said, "Wait a minute," and called Alex. It was sad to see that she couldn't do anything without Alex, even at a time like this. After about 20 minutes, Alex came to my house. He said, "What the hell is going on? She's not getting a divorce." "What do you mean? Put your hands on your hearts and think about it." When I said this, my wife and Alex looked at me like I was talking out of my ass. I explained to them in disgust. Moral harassment and bullying are enough cause for divorce. In addition, you spent all our savings without consulting me. I can no longer trust you. My wife and Alex were frightened for a moment, but immediately said, "I won't give you my son." They said, "First of all, you can't have a child by yourself." I knew she would say that, so I played my last trump card. I've decided to start working as a sole proprietor next month. By the way, I'm proud to say that I can take better care of my child than your precious daughter there. No way. My wife and Alex were shocked. As if to drive home the point, I've also recorded all of your comments about me and the harassment. I will submit this data in the event of a divorce. My wife and Alex turned pale. After that, I left the rest of the correspondence to my lawyer, and we proceeded with the divorce and custody of my son. As a result, the divorce was finalized and I got custody of my son. In addition, I was able to get half of the $40,000 that she spent without my permission because it was our joint property. 3 years after deciding to get a divorce, I finally felt like I was free. I'm really glad that I was able to break off my relationship with Alex and my wife, who are the worst kind of people. Now I work hard every day for my beautiful son with the support of my parents. I am very happy and fulfilled every day. Thank you for watching until the end. How did you like today's story? Please subscribe to our channel if you like. See you in the next story.